David thought his marriage of 20 years could survive anything, especially after standing by his wife, Sarah, during her serious illness. But when she recovers and suddenly asks for a hall pass to be with a coworker, David's world is shattered. Despite his objections, Sarah insists on going through with it, leaving David to face the unthinkable betrayal alone. What unfolds is a story of loyalty, betrayal, and shocking consequences that no one, especially Sarah, saw coming. Welcome to the Payback Vault, your go-to hub for revenge stories, epic payback, and jaw-dropping karma. If you love thrilling tales of justice and intense drama, you're in the right place. Imagine spending 20 years with someone, building a life together, weathering life's challenges side by side. That was my life with Sarah, my wife and the love of my life, at least. That's what I thought. When she was diagnosed with a serious illness, it felt like our world was crashing down. But I was there for her, through every step, putting everything else on hold. I paused my career, turned down projects, and focused entirely on her recovery. It was hard, yes, but in my mind, that's what you do when you love someone. We made it through, and when she was finally healthy again, I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought we'd come out of this stronger. I felt proud of the life we'd built together, thinking it could only go up from here, but I couldn't have been more wrong. One evening, Sarah came home and hit me with something I'll never forget. "I want a hall pass," she said, just like that, out of the blue, as if she were asking me to pass the salt at dinner. I stared at her, feeling my heart drop, trying to process the words coming out of her mouth. "A hall pass?" I asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. "Yes," she continued, her voice calm and almost excited. "I think the illness has made me realize I don't want to miss out on experiences. I feel like I have this new perspective, and I want to be free to live life fully, to do things I never let myself do before." Then she told me something that made my blood run cold. "There's a guy at work. He's leaving the company, and I've always been curious about him." She explained that she wanted just one night with him. "It's my last chance," she said, as if this was somehow supposed to justify her request. She even had the audacity to tell me I should be supportive, claiming that denying her would just show how insecure I was. She went on about how I needed to shed my toxic masculinity and let her experience what she wanted without clinging to me like some kind of possessive husband. I felt like I was in a bad dream, completely blindsided. Here I was, the man who'd stayed by her side through her illness, put my life on hold for her, and she was asking me to stand by while she explored her curiosity with another man. It was surreal. In that moment, all I could do was stare at her, feeling my stomach twist with a mix of anger, confusion, and sadness. I tried to reason with her, reminding her of everything we'd been through, the years we'd spent building a life together. I told her that I just couldn't understand how she could throw it all away for some fleeting curiosity, but she brushed off my feelings, saying I was being old-fashioned and selfish. I felt like I was the one being punished, like everything I'd sacrificed for her meant nothing. I told her no. I told her that I couldn't support this and that I wasn't comfortable with her idea of a hall pass. I thought that would end the conversation, but instead, she looked at me with this smug, almost condescending look. "I'm doing this anyway, David," she said, "and I'm hoping you'll still be here when I come back." The words echoed in my mind, like some twisted joke. She was going to go through with it whether I liked it or not. She had even booked a hotel near the office, where they'd be holding a farewell party for this guy. She'd taken the decision out of my hands. I felt powerless, devastated, and humiliated all at once. That night, I lay awake, my mind racing with questions. How had it come to this? Why would she do this to me after everything we'd been through? I thought about everything I'd given up, all the years we'd spent together, only for her to throw it away for some random office fling. I couldn't take it. I was consumed with anger, feeling trapped in this twisted game she was playing. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't completely powerless. I remembered her coworker's wife, Anna. I'd met her once at a holiday party, just briefly. I wasn't sure how to get in touch with her, but I knew I had to try. I thought about how she deserved to know the truth, that her husband was about to betray her just as much as Sarah was betraying me. The next morning, I reached out to a mutual friend, and after some digging, I managed to get Anna's contact information. I was nervous calling her, not sure how she'd react or if she'd even believe me. But to my surprise, she picked up right away, and I could hear the tension in her voice as soon as she answered. It was as if she'd been waiting for something like this. When I told her what was happening, there was a long silence. Then she told me she'd suspected something was going on for a while. Her husband had been acting strange, staying out late, making excuses. Hearing my story confirmed her worst fears. I asked her if she wanted to confront them together, and she didn't hesitate for a second. We both agreed they had to be exposed, and they had to face the consequences. The day of the party arrived. Sarah left the house without a word, all dressed up, looking excited, almost like she was going on some grand adventure. It hurt to see her so happy about something that was ripping me apart inside, but I kept my cool, knowing that the real confrontation was just a few hours away. Anna and I met outside the hotel, hiding around a corner, watching as Sarah and her coworker chatted and laughed at the bar. They were holding hands, oblivious to everything around them. It was disgusting, really, seeing how easily they'd both thrown away their marriages. When they headed toward the elevator, Anna and I waited a few minutes, our hearts pounding with anticipation. Finally, we followed them. We found the door and stood there, listening to the muffled voices inside. I knocked, loudly, and after a moment, the door swung open. Sarah and her lover stood there, both of them shocked, their faces drained of color. They tried to stammer out excuses, mumbling about how it wasn't what it looked like, but I wasn't interested in hearing their lies. I looked Sarah straight in the eyes and said, "We talked about this, Sarah, but you decided for both of us, so now I'm making a decision, too." I turned and walked away, letting her and her lover stew in their own humiliation. The fallout was swift and brutal. Her coworker, caught off guard and humiliated, tried to distance himself, claiming he didn't know Sarah was married, an obvious lie. Meanwhile, I had already packed Sarah's belongings, changed the locks, and filed for divorce. By the time she got home, there was nothing left for her but the empty shell of the life she'd thrown away. Days later, she called me, begging to talk things over, pleading for a second chance. But I'd made up my mind. I told her I wouldn't tolerate betrayal disguised as some self-indulgent need to live life to the fullest. I told her I'd given her everything, my love, my support, my loyalty, and she'd thrown it all away. My final words to her were simple: you wanted freedom, so now you have it, but it doesn't come with me by your side. And that was it. I walked away, leaving her to deal with the consequences of her actions. Sarah thought she could have it all: her marriage, her freedom, her hall pass. But life doesn't work like that. Loyalty deserves loyalty in return. Betrayal has a cost, and she was finally paying it. Would you have done the same? Would you have walked away, or tried to give her another chance? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales of justice and karma. Justice served, one story at a time.